So today in 4-02, we're going to carry on with doing looping, but just a reminder about our while loop from last time. The key is that we have to have some kind of counter or iterator inside our loop. This thing is changing so that our Boolean expression needs to become false at some point, and then we stop doing the stuff inside of our loop and we carry on with our program. Okay? So while this Boolean expression is true, we keep going around and around. We learned last time that this seems really strange to math people, but not to us, because we're taking a variable, adding 1 to it, and then we're assigning it back to the same variable. We know that this is not an equal sign. It's an assignment statement. Okay? So that's the basics of a while loop. If you looked at the textbook and you looked at other programming languages, if you look at Go, you will notice it doesn't look like a while loop here. It's got 4. Okay? So not all programming languages have every different kind of looping structure. And that's what we're going to talk about today. So in the while loop, let's just go back to Python here. In the while loop, our Boolean expression is at the very top. There could be a situation where for some reason the very first time you come across this will be false. And if it's false, you don't do anything on the inside and you'll just carry on. So it could be possible that you actually never go into the loop. Sometimes it's useful to go into the loop once. You need people to go in at least once and then stick in the loop forever. If you think about the guessing game program that we've been doing, at the moment we just let the person guess once. Really, we should let the person guess several times, but they would have to guess at least once, right? Like there's no situation where they didn't guess but they got it right. That doesn't make any sense, right? So in some cases, it might make good sense that we actually want this Boolean expression at the bottom, that we force people to come through once. Then if it's true, we can hop out. And that is called a do-while loop. Okay? So the only difference is that our Boolean expression is put at the bottom. We're still going to need some counter to increment. We still have a whole bunch of code statements that we have in the middle. We usually put a do at the beginning and then our while is at the bottom. So this is a one-to-many loop. A while loop is a zero-to-many, because there's a chance that you might never get into the loop. Okay? So this exists in many programming languages. We're going to do the exact same kind of program. We have a counter. I'm going to assign it 0. We get a number from the user. This time we're going to show the very first counter, which is 0, so we do it right away. We add 1 to the counter, and then we have our Boolean expression. So it's at the bottom of our loop. While this is true, we go back up and we do it again. Okay, so the only thing we did was we just took our Boolean expression, moved it from the top to the bottom. Everything's okay. Everything will work exactly the same as it normally does. Okay, so pseudocode, you put the do first and the while at the bottom. If you are using Python, you probably wouldn't put this in brackets, right? Don't have to, it's totally up to you. So once again, you'll notice Go, it doesn't have a while loop. And in fact, Python also does not have a do-while. But many other programming languages do. So this is JavaScript. It has 1. Java, it has 1. Turns out C++, C#, it has it. C++, it has it. And even C. So most what we term C-like languages do have it. Python, Go, there are exceptions, they don't. Okay? So here's my example, but in C. So we put do at the beginning, and I've just moved while to the bottom. So I'm just going to hopefully debug my program. Remember, C sometimes doesn't work the very first time. So you get this weird thing, so you just stop it and start it up again, and the second time it usually does work. There we go. So how many times am I going to repeat? I'm going to say 5 times. So here's my breakpoint. The number that the person entered is 5, okay, and our counter is currently at 0. So we're going to print out first this time. Oh, come on. It's doing a whole bunch of weird things with the print. Okay, I'm going to stop this, and I'm going to move my breakpoint. I'm going to put the breakpoint here so that we can skip over this. It's trying to do the printf function, and that's a library, and it's having problems trying to do that. So we're going to try doing it this way. Okay, so there we are. It printed out 0. It's now going to increment our counter. Okay, so now our counter is 1. I'm just going to move forward. Okay, so now it prints out 1. Our counter is a 1. We're still waiting for 5, so it's going to increment the counter 1 more. It's going to do the check. Remember, just like we did last time, we can put this in a watch and see when it becomes 0. Okay? So it's going to do it 2 times, 3. This is 4. So notice counter is now 4. I'm going to increment it 1. This now became 0. And we should hop out. Okay? So, works perfectly the same as a while loop. You just put the thing at the bottom. Problem is, it does not exist in all programming languages. So if it doesn't exist in yours, you just can't do it. You have to put the while at the top.